Hey, what's up folks at home? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are gonna talk about one of my favorite baits, a forgotten bait, but a bait that gets a lot of play as the water gets colder. The spinnerbait. Hey, let's dive in. Alright guys, so the spinnerbait, right? Essentially there are two different kinds of spinnerbaits and they serve different purposes. And then there's some crossover baits and some certain things that we're going to talk about. But let's go in-depth spinnerbait. First and foremost, the spinnerbait that I'm going to choose 9 times out of 10 is the double willow leaf spinnerbait. If you think what a spinnerbait is made to do, a spinnerbait is made to mimic a school of baitfish. It's the original Alabama rig, right? Just downsized in a nice package. If I'm trying to emulate baitfish, if I have clear water, I am throwing a willow leaf spinnerbait. Now, if I am fishing in predominantly murky or tannic or off-colored water, and I am trying to imitate a larger profiled baitfish, a bluegill, something of that nature, I am going to go with the double Colorado spinnerbait. In colder water, I'm going to go with the double Colorado spinnerbait, right? So, first things first, it's really easy to separate how I use a spinnerbait. Warm water, clear water, willow leaf. Cold water, murky water, Colorado blade. That's the way that I kind of separate it out, and they both do different things. Willow leaf blades, right? Silver blades, they really look like a baitfish. They're going to give a distinctive thump in the water. The bigger the blade, the harder the thump, right? Depending on what kind of baitfish I'm targeting. If I'm targeting small baitfish on the surface, I'm going to burn a spinnerbait, right? If I'm targeting heavier bodied baitfish, your gizzard, shad, things like that, I'm going to throw a bigger blade. If there's a little bit of murk or chop on the water, I'm going to throw that willow leaf. 9 times out of 10, I'm throwing a willow leaf, right? It's just a great way to get bit. It mimics a lot of baitfish, and bass will absolutely chew on it. Now, on the flip side, if the water is cold and I need to slow down my presentation and really milk that bait through a zone, I'm going to throw a Colorado bait. This blade has a bigger thump, and it will burn slower through the water. So, slower handle turns. This provides a lot of lift on the bait, this Colorado blade, so it's going to pull that bait up in the water column. Now, there are times when crossover is important. The number one crossover blade combination is going to be a willow leaf and a Colorado, right? And this is a great middle-of-the-road combination. Matter of fact, most guys who throw a spinnerbait are throwing that combination right there. This is going to provide some clack and flash and lift. This is going to spin really tight. And what it's going to do is it's going to be a good combination for you underwater. But I like to be different from most people. So I have gone down an absolute spinnerbait rabbit hole, and I've learned a bunch of stuff. When I used to go up to Minnesota a lot and fish, a lot of guys would use the Dakota blade on their inline spinners for walleye, and they would catch a lot of bass when they were doing that. So I started throwing a Dakota blade on there as a different look on my spinnerbaits. And let me tell you, on a downsized spinnerbait with a Dakota blade, bass will actually just destroy this bait. For whatever reason, that Dakota blade gives a different thump in the water, and it allows bass to really target that. So if you're fishing pressured water, you're fishing clear water, that blade will dance a lot different than other blades. So there are ways to be different, right? Other ways that you can be different, painted blades. If the water is off, I'm going to pick up the painted blade, right? And painted blades also allow you to get away with willow leaves in darker, tainted, or tannic water, especially if baitfish are still present. I'm going to go with the painted blade, right? A lot of guys don't throw painted blades. They throw silver or they throw gold, right? But the painted blade can work. All right, guys, I have 2 PB bass. I have a PB largemouth and a PB smallmouth. My personal best smallmouth, I'll throw a picture up here, was caught in Lake Cumberland in early June on a spinnerbait. Matter of fact, it was caught on this color spinnerbait right here on a bluebird day, fishing it and ripping it up off the bottom out of the rock so it looked like a fleeing crawfish. This color exactly right here. I caught a 25-inch smallmouth. Right, it's my PB smallmouth. I'm guessing he was 6 pounds if I had to guess. He was a big boy, right? And what I remember about that spinnerbait bite was I was fishing a spinnerbait in a way that most guys don't fish a spinnerbait. Most guys throw that out there, burn it back. That crawfish colored bait, if you stroke it off the bottom, let it fall back down, stroke it off the bottom, it's another sound that they're not used to hearing. It's another flash that they're not used to seeing, and it's a way that you can catch fish when they aren't expecting it. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed that video talking about spinnerbaits today. We throw some footage on there. We threw some pictures on there. We talked about how we do things. Give us a like and subscribe. The channel is growing. Let us know what you guys want us to do. More underwater videos, more tournament fishing, multi-species. Hey, let us know in the comment section. Thanks for hanging out with us today, guys. We'll see you next time.